I've been working on this guitar for the last couple of weeks, and last week I discovered a couple of bolts that someone hid for me inside this guitar, which made the neck almost impossible to remove, but finally got it removed. And this video is part 2 in this K23 restoration, where before we can reset this neck, I've got to build a new bridge and get it installed on the top of this guitar. So stick around. So this is strange. Anybody see anything weird here? Maybe the spacing on these? Yep, sure enough. You got 380, 430, 470. You get the point. So I'm gonna plug all these holes. I might keep the 2 outer holes. I don't remember seeing anything weird on the guitar. I'll have to go back and check the footage. I went back and looked at some of the footage. Yeah, there is some strange spacing going on. I guess I missed it. I think outside to outside. Probably use those. Fill these 4. I'm gonna fill these 2 anyway here. But when I fill them, I do want to fill them all the way down through the bridge plate. I don't know if those holes were ever right. Here I'm just burning out some plugs. This bit is so dull. I guess it's time for a new set. Don't ask me why I'm doing this on top of the guitar. Probably not the smartest thing. It's important that these plugs go right through the bridge plate. I'm going to use this bridge to trace, and this is so easy to do. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it a little bit oversized, so that way there it'll cover any ghosting on the footprint by just a smidge. I'm going to push it off to one side, because one side of this blank is squared up and true. I'm going to use that, but I'm going to cut it oversized on the bandsaw. Now I want to take the thickness down to about 300 thousandths or so. So I got my fence set up on the spindle sander. I'm going to run it through a few times until I get this down to 300. Okay, now we're at about 340. So I got it about a 30-second oversized, so I have some room to clean it up. Now let me get the sides squared up and 2 sides using the same setup. Okay, now just slightly larger all the way around, which is just about perfect where I want it. And then for the wings, I'll bring it over to the spindle sander once again. Okay, I have my fence set again. And then on the back of the fence, I've got this little piece of wood just to a certain depth. And that is my stop, so both sides will be exactly the same. So that's it, the bridge is roughed out. Sometimes there's a radius on the top of this. I may do that. Maybe get the holes in there first, and then I'll see what I want to do about the top radius. So I think I am going to go ahead and do a top radius. Most of the time I do this by hand, and it usually takes quite a while, so I broke out my 3D printer and made this radius gauge that has a flat spot on one side and a radius on the other, so I can transfer the radius and keep it perfectly in line with the top. You can use this on saddles and nut blanks, anywhere that you want to put a radius that's perfectly in line. I thought this would be something great to give away if anybody wants one. If you join my Patreon or hit that join button on my channel, I'll gladly send you one. All the links are in the description. So the way this works is you transfer the radius onto the bridge. It gives you a line to use as a reference, and using a spindle sander or belt sander, you sand it up to that line. You still have to finish it by hand, but it makes really quick work out of it. And one thing I like to do before I install it is just polish it. That gives it a finished look, and you can see exactly what it's going to look like when it's done. So here's where it's going to get mounted, and I have the holes plugged. I just need to cut off the plug flush with the top. So it turns out the holes that I'm using to locate the bridge to glue it down, one of them holds a drill, the other one doesn't. So I'm just going to hold it by hand long enough to get a clamp on here, just to hold it in place so I can trace around it with a razor blade and score the finish so I can clean it up and get ready to glue down. Before I glue the bridge down, I'll score the back. Then I'll wipe the back of the bridge with some acetone to remove the oils. This can help the glue to stick to the rosewood much better. I'm going to apply glue to both surfaces, the top as well as the underside of the bridge. Try to get full coverage. You can't have too much glue here. You'll just squeeze out all the excess that you can clean up later. I'm going to put 2 pins on the inside to locate the bridge. That seems to hold it in place pretty good. Lines it up nicely. You can see there's no movement there. Now he's got to pull those 2 pins out because I don't want to glue them in there. Actually, let's push them in.